Hello and welcome to another. Yeah, we're not gonna start over on that, but yeah,
Good
we're
job.
gonna keep going. Yeah. Oh, and then a cough. Man, that's a horrible start.
Recover.
Recovery. Do I go backwards?
No, just forward.
Just forward. Hello and welcome to another episode of 9 to 5 Nerds with Robert Swathwood and Katrina Swathwood.
Hello.
Anyways.
What?
So last time we recorded was very recently, so it's nice to be back. So with such a quick turnaround, you may have heard us fight on whether we were going to talk about Ted Lasso or not.
Was that a fight?
I guess it was as close
Disagreement?
as we get to a fight.
Okay.
It doesn't happen very often.
No.
So we kind of leaned into it for the episode for the sake of our listeners.
For a split second.
Yeah, for a split second.
You're welcome.
But I wanted to talk about Ted Lasso, but we had yet to finish it. Now we are both kind of late to the party when it comes.
Now, how late are
Ted
we?
Lasso.
Because I really hadn't heard
About
much.
a year.
Okay.
I mean, it came out in 2020.
I hadn't heard anybody telling me to watch it besides you.
Well, everywhere I've heard about it said it was so great and that it was, inspiring and so positive and funny and had a good heart. And
Everything you're looking for in a show.
Yeah. We'll get to that. But I had been hearing about it for so damn long that we finally bit the bullet and jumped into it. That took us, 2 weeks to watch?
Right. They're short episodes. They're not an hour.
Yeah.
It's like between 35 minutes and 40 minutes an episode.
Yeah, something like that. But the benefit of doing something like that is we finished the first season last night.
Yes.
And we can watch the first episode of the next season tonight.
Right.
So, that's one of the positives. But as far as, did the show live up to the hype? And I mean, how many Emmys was it nominated for?
20?
Yeah, 20. I thought 18 or 20. A lot.
Yes.
I mean, it's a lot.
A significant amount.
And I'm sure that has to do with the people that are in the show, the music of the show, the visuals of the show, everything, right? Isn't that how Emmys work?
I don't even know. But yes, actors.
Way to go on a pop culture.
Well, when was the last time we watched an award show?
The Oscars, last time it was on.
The Oscars, right. And they cover...
You didn't ask when was the last time we watched the Emmys. You said when was the last time we watched an award show.
That's fair.
If you asked when we watched the Emmys last time, I'd say never.
Well, I want to say Emmys take into consideration more categories because it's TV based.
Yes.
And there's many more to pick from than just movies.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you haven't watched Ted Lasso yet, here is your time to sign off. Or if you don't care because it's not some sort of big thing like Loki or anything that has this big reveal or anything, nothing's gonna be blown for you. But if you don't want to know what happens, you can
hit pause and come back later.
When you do, first question would be, does it live up to the hype? Now, I'm the only one that told you about it, so it didn't have much hype.
Nope, not for me.
So, I'd say yes. For me, it absolutely lived up to the hype. If you don't know what it's about a college football coach who goes to Richmond, England, to be a European football coach.
Which is soccer
for us. Yes. So he goes from being a college football coach to a soccer coach.
And doesn't know anything
about soccer. But they... he had a viral video that came out where he was dancing with the stars, or dancing with the football players, and so he gets hired. Little does he know, the owner that hired him is hiring him because she's going through a divorce with her husband and wants to ruin the thing that her husband loved the most.
She wants to tank and set it on fire.
Problem is everybody loves Ted, and even the people that hate Ted
love Ted. Right.
I said Ted too many times, and I kept thinking Ted Mosby, and I'm like, no,
Bull?
We're not talking about Bull. We're not talking about How I Met Your Mother,
no.
Which is the spinoff of that is actually moving forward.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, finally. No, but
good for them.
So it's Jason. Is his name Sudeikis or Sudeki?
I hear people say Sudeki, but who knows?
You hear me? Do you hear anybody else say it? Because that's how.
Well,
I say
it. when they say his name, like publicity wise, I've heard Sudeki I haven't heard.
Our Books and Brews co-host Alan, which that's coming back. Alan and I are organizing that. You're just along for the ride.
Cool.
Says
I
that
just live here.
Jason Sudeikis and Ed Helms, he can't tell apart. And I'm like, they look completely different.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this is Jason Sudeikis, and I don't know most the other people in it. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else I know.
I swear Keely, I had seen her before, and I couldn't place her. But anybody else in the TV series, I'm running through my head. I don't recall.
I looked at her
seeing them
IMDb
anywhere.
profile, and I hadn't seen her in anything else.
She looks familiar,
Yeah.
so maybe she looks like somebody, but I don't know. She felt familiar.
But this show, and everybody I heard talk about it was talking about how...
I wonder if there's a lot of like well-known British actors that we're just not aware of because they do like British TV.
That could be. I mean, that happens. But and it's filmed over there, so you're probably right. It's a very heartwarming story, which I think is part
With twinges of sadness and like horribleness.
But you can't have the good without the bad.
Right.
And I think that there's way more good in this than bad, but those slight, like you said, tinges of bad help to highlight the positivity and the heart that the show has. You can't dislike Ted Lasso. He's Mr. Golly Gee Whiz.
Right.
Which is funny.
Mr. Positive.
Yeah, Mr. Positive.
And when he's not, it's like shocking.
It is. And, it has to deal, and he's Mr. Positive, but he's not, he's going through a rough patch with his wife. And in the show, I thought that was one of the most emotional parts of the entire show was
when his family visited.
When his family visits and he realizes that he has to let his wife go, that
right.
it's not there
it's over.
anymore, that they don't hate each other. They both wanted to keep trying. And she had said, I'm hoping that, something along the lines of, I hope if I keep trying,
I'll wake up one day.
I'll wake up and care like I used to.
Right.
And it's not, they didn't hate each other. And I think that's on the flip side, you have the owner, Rebecca,
right,
and her piece of shit ex-husband.
Oh God,
who,
Rupert.
They obviously hate each other.
They hate each other, and she does a very good, mirror of not in public.
Yes.
So
in private, she hates
in private she lets it go, but in public she is very, very classy, I should say.
Well, I think it's just a different spin on divorce, because anytime you see divorce in TV or movies, it's the most dramatic version of it. This was emotional, but not dramatic. Does that make sense?
It does, but I think it's also different because you're talking about a very public figure who is rich and famous. Everybody knows who he is. No? What are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about Ted. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm saying that one was obviously in the tabloids and all this stuff, which is the typical movie or TV show divorce that you see, fighting, stuff like that. Whereas is Ted and his wife, it was very emotional, but it wasn't like
because he still loves his wife.
Yes,
and he doesn't want her to leave.
No, but he realizes he had to let her go, and I thought that was a special moment in the show because it does show Ted sad when he is inspiring and being there for so many other people
and doing something that he really doesn't want to.
Yeah. And it's just it was so entertaining to watch just Ted. It's just who he is. He's not being fake.
No.
And so many other times when there's a good person in a movie or show, you're waiting for your other shoe to drop. You're waiting, when's he going to fuck up? When's something bad going to happen? When who are
they really?
Yeah, when's the shit going to hit the fan, or when's something really bad going to happen to him? And the divorce happened, or but he knows it needs to happen. And I think that the reason the other shoe didn't drop in the show is because everybody in Richmond hates him from the beginning. Then the guy at the why can't I think of his name? Trent. What was the newspaper he worked for? It doesn't matter.
Oh God. Yes.
But he wanted to hate Ted. He wanted to hate him so badly, but he realizes that he can't physically hate him because he's such a good person.
Right.
And through the 10 episodes in the first season, you slowly realize that, and he's got such a big heart and he knows what he's doing. And I was talking to somebody else about it, and it's also really a master class on coaching, which is what they said.
Well, there's
to
a
me.
master plan, and
Yeah.
every little piece needs to spin in order for it to work.
And I wrote down some moments that I really liked, and one of them was, he gives a book to everybody.
Yes.
And, you have these two soccer stars on the team. You have
The aging star.
Jamie Tart, and you have Kent, who's the aging star. Roy Kent.
Yeah.
And Jamie Tart just throws the book away. He's like, what the fuck is this? He's
right.
like, whatever.
He couldn't be bothered with it.
Kent doesn't want to read it, and he does. And there's that moment in the show.
I liked it even better that he read it to his niece.
Yeah. He's reading it to his niece, and he's realizing what Ted wants him to do, and that he wants to do it, and he knows he needs to do it, and he goes, oh fuck.
Yeah.
It was such a good moment, and it's just one of 20 moments in the show that are so unbelievably special.
Like the goldfish.
The goldfish, yes, the goldfish. And I can't remember that player's name off the top of my head.
Oh, God.
But he's another thing that he steals the scene. Like every scene he's in, just he has so much joy on his face. Or Danny Rojas, him too.
Oh, my God. Football is life.
Yeah, football is life. He wants to get in business with joy, But it's fun to watch as the season progresses. Everybody slowly realize who Ted is.
His name's Sam.
Realize who Ted is, and that they can actually put their faith in him and believe in him and believe in what he says.
Right.
And I enjoyed that because everybody does it differently. I'm going to skip around a lot in here, but Jamie Tart ends up going back to Manchester. And even at the very end, when they beat Richmond,
right,
he still sends a congratulatory, basically, I'm proud of you moment,
right,
to Jamie Tart, and Jamie's like, oh shit, like he cares about me.
Well, he had the breakthrough moment with Ted, and that was really important for his character arc because he hadn't had that with anybody. Like
I said, we're gonna jump around a bit, but yeah, Jamie hated him, Kent hated him, and they both in their own ways grow to care about Ted because of what he's done for them. Jamie was a hotshot, and he was, but he even gave in to Ted's way of thinking and kind of admitted what his faults were so he could grow as a character as well. Like every character grew in the show, every single person, everyone.
I think my favorite is the biscuits in the morning.
Yeah. I love the relationship between Ted and Rebecca. Like from the beginning, she wants to hate him and she can't.
No.
She absolutely can't. And then the one moment that Ted
is so angry with her.
Well, I wasn't even going to talk about that. The moment that Ted needs somebody, who's the person that's there for him?
And she is.
Yeah, she is. And
well, remember your first panic attack?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Like you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like I remember I wasn't even in high school yet, and there'd be nights where I just couldn't sleep and my brain just wouldn't turn off. And I was just like, what is wrong with me? I was like, I should be asleep now. I was like, what time is it? Oh, it's 1:00. Okay. I'm going to go to sleep. And then it'll be 2. It'll be 3. Like,
have you ever had a legitimate panic attack though?
Yes.
So, I mean, a panic attack isn't the same as not being able to sleep.
No, it's not. But it's in the same sense that you're trying to figure out what's going on and why your brain is like working against you. So it was really interesting to see that exchange.
Yeah. There was several scenes that I actually put notes on about because I was like, there was one of the most special scenes in the whole show is they're at the local bar and Rebecca is there with Ted and they're supposed to be meeting some minority owners.
The Milk Sisters.
And they find out that Rebecca's ex-husband is there, and his fiance bought them out.
Right.
So now, in a way, he owns
part of the
team, and he's going to be in the owner's box now. And so Ted challenges him to a game of darts, and and he's throwing, and he does the Inigo Montoya. He's like, oh, I forgot that I'm left-handed. after her ex-husband shows him all the fancy darts. And they're going back and forth, and then Ted asks the bartender what he needs to win. and he's telling this story about playing darts with his dad when he was 8 years old till he was 16 when his dad passed away. And it pans to Rebecca, and you see her starting to understand him more and more and more.
Everything is with a purpose.
Yes, and that's the point. Is every little part of the show, it's like cogs in a watch.
Right. They all have to go.
Everything, and every show tries to do that.
It's hard.
This is one of the few that succeeds. And there's that scene. There's the scene where Roy Kent finally understands Ted completely, and he has that line, and he says, "This is why it's hard to love you." And the bearded coach goes, he loves you. Yeah, like everybody realizes what he's doing. And there's so many good relationships in the show. Rebecca and Keeley, from once they get together, because Keeley's the first one that's telling her the truth and being a friend to her.
Right. A true friend.
A true friend to her. And
someone's going to call you on your shit.
Yeah, there's Rebecca and Ted, and the fact that he keeps making her biscuits.
And she's trying to find out where
they're
he's
from.
buying them.
Yeah, and you see that he's making them by hand, and it's like, that relationship is really good. At first Keeley is with Jamie Tart,
right?
And halfway through the season, she ends up being with Roy Kent. And just a few episodes with Kent and Keeley together, they're so great together. And I think it was her growing up as well. You see her.
They're in the same place in life.
She's not going after the young, hot.
Well, she's no longer the young, hot model anymore. She's older.
So she's realizes how compatible she was with Kent and how much they care about each other. And, she has that backslide where she sleeps with Jamie, but she's upfront with him honestly.
And tells him.
And I like how they all
told him to grow up.
What is it? The Diamond Dogs?
Yeah,
Diamond Dogs. And we haven't talked about Nate yet. We'll get to that.
Nate is great.
They brings the Diamond Dogs together and they help him just grow up, even though he's the older guy on the team. Grow up.
It's about pride.
Yeah. And every relationship that bounces off of each other, I can't get enough of it. And in a year where Invincible came out, and I love it so much, and I can't think of any new shows we watched other than that. But I'm trying to think about the last time I enjoyed a season of television like this. And as much as I liked Game of Thrones, that's more of a slow burn.
Yes.
And it's not the kind of lighthearted situation this is. I'd say this is on par with me for that first season of True Detective.
Okay.
With McConaughey and Woody Harrelson.
Right.
Which was such a perfect season of television.
It was.
That, or, I really enjoyed the first season of Dexter a lot. I think that's one of the best seasons of television.
Okay.
But those are both heavy. This is the best season of lighthearted television, and it's not a sitcom. It's not a sitcom at all.
No, it's not.
I can't remember enjoying, and it's not recency biased, and because I know that exists.
Right.
But I can't. I'm like racking my brain. I've been doing it for a couple days now, or at least since last night, thinking over this, and I can't think of a better season of television. It was so good.
Well, it's hard for you to watch dramatic stuff during the week. It's just not in your wheelhouse.
Well, I'm so tired at the end of the day, and
it's mentally taxing.
Yeah.
You have to actually give attention. You have to know what's going on. You have to follow the story. You can't just kind of sit down and relax. So, and I also think you got to think about the comedies that we really, really enjoy. So, Schitt's Creek?
Yeah, Schitt's Creek is great.
The first season was still a little wonky.
Yeah. But that show from beginning to end had the best progression for characters as well.
Right. But I also think that the first season of that show in particular was needed to be wonky.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of showing how the characters are just kind of thrown into the situation where they don't know what they're doing or what they should be doing.
Yeah.
So it was really reflective of that environment. But no, for what other comedies do we watch on repeat? Parks and Rec?
Yeah, Parks and Rec, which the first season was terrible.
Yeah, the first
Absolutely
season was
awful.
All over the place. It wasn't until Ben Wyatt kind of shows up that it kind of streamlines.
I'd say like the 5 to 10 episodes before, maybe 5 episodes before that, they were starting to hit a stride. And then, Ben Wyatt comes in and really sets the tone.
Right. So what else? We've kind of burned out on The Office.
Yeah, after watching it 10, 15 times, I don't really want to watch it anymore.
That's fine. Like, I don't have an issue with that. I put it on when we go to sleep. Like,
Yeah.
it's just kind of
Background
light.
noise. It's white noise for my ears.
We haven't watched Friends in a really, really long time.
I can't do the laugh tracks anymore.
And that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with that.
That's why it's kind of gone through Scrubs and The Office and Parks and Rec. There's no laugh track.
Right. So it's kind of along those lines. It's just a little bit different.
Yeah, and
It's
I
not
want to
the
watch
same.
it again. I mean, I really want to watch through the season again. And I know we're trying to watch new stuff, but I want to go back through it. So I want to talk about Nate real quick, and then I want to talk about the situation that happened at the very end. And then I have one more thing I want to talk to you about. So Nate.
Coach Nate.
Nobody's ever given him the time of day.
No.
They all give him shit.
He's a locker room keeper. He picks up after them. He does their laundry. He cleans their boots.
And they just give him crap because Jamie thought it was funny.
Right.
And Kent's asking him if he's going to make them stop, and he says, no, it's not my job,
Right.
But he's the first one, the beard coach and Ted are the first ones to give Nate any time of day.
Right. And who knows how long.
Yeah. And in his progression through the thing from when he draws up a play to when he roasts all the players before a game to the fact at the very end he gets
promoted.
And he was so offended that everything was clean already when he came in.
Right.
To the locker room.
Well,
he
was like, who's
job?
doing my fucking job?
And he thought
he thought he was fired.
He thought he was fired. I love that they played it off right away.
Like, I don't know what's going on, man.
And then he got promoted. And that's so good. His progression through the first season is so uplifting as well as Higgins, the PR guy.
Leslie.
Yeah, Leslie Higgins. There's not a bad character in the show because even the characters you don't like become likable.
Yeah.
And it's in...
Like, you don't like Jamie Tart.
No.
But by the end of the season, you feel bad for him.
You feel bad for him and you care about him.
Right.
You care about what happens to him. And, Rebecca comes clean to all this sabotage she was trying to do against Ted, and he just forgives her.
Right. Like, without a question.
You could see it on his face that he was hurt.
Right.
But he let it go because he understands what she's going through, because he's going through a similar situation.
Right.
And he's not the kind of person that's going to hold a grudge to somebody that's coming clean and being honest.
Right. And it's funny because when she's talking to Higgins about him forgiving her, it's just such an appalling thing. Like, if the shoe was on the other foot, she wouldn't have forgiven him.
Mm-mm.
So it's pretty...
Oh, there is one person you hate is her ex-husband. He's just a piece of trash.
Rupert?
Yeah. He's terrible. He's everything you hate in a character.
Yeah.
So I guess you do have to dislike somebody. But even like the people that yell at Ted in the bar, you still like them.
Call him wanker?
Yeah. So, we don't give a lot of ratings anymore. We don't do that kind of stuff.
No.
Hamilton was the first 10 I gave for a movie or a performance.
That's well deserved.
Yeah. But I can't think of any other rating to give this show but a perfect rating. Is there anything wrong with it? Was there anything you didn't? I liked it from the very first minute to the very last minute.
Everything that was included was necessary. There was no scenes in that season that you could take out and
that they just threw in.
Right. Like as filler. Or, I got to go to this character because what?
Maybe if you wanted to say Sassy, Rebecca's friend that slept with Ted.
Okay.
But you know that might pay off in season 2.
But she was there with other people.
Yes.
It wasn't like she had her own scene.
Yeah, and it's part of the moving on process, I suppose.
Well, it was also part of her calling Rebecca out on her shit. Because she's trying to make Rupert
You're right, I forgot about that part.
the villain about everything.
But she did her own stuff.
And she did her own stuff. You make your own decisions. She decided that was the way her life was going to be. She could have done something else. So, and I thought that was important because that started to make her think of, what can I do? Yeah,
you're absolutely right. So if I had to give it a rating, I'd give it a 10. I can't think of anything.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm as soon as we're done recording here, we're going to watch the first episode of season 2. But that is the benefit of coming to something late. We got to watch a full season.
Right. So we're those people that got to go through 4 seasons of Game of Thrones before they had to watch the 5th one.
Yeah. But, with a show this good, you hope that the next part isn't a letdown, but they leave it with the fact that Richmond does lose and get delegated.
Right.
For there to be a big comeback story.
Yeah.
So I do like that. I really can't think of anything bad to say about it. I loved this show.
So I guess my question is Roy retiring?
Does he? I mean, he's going to stick around.
I know he's going to probably still work for the club. I would see that happening. Maybe he becomes an assistant coach, and I don't know.
I hope he kind of loses his way a little bit in the fact, because that would make sense for somebody that's been playing a sport since they were 4 years old.
Like, what do I do?
Yeah. If it's going to be realistic, then that would be a
Life
benefit,
crisis.
that he just like stays at home and eats
Gets fat
at her apartment. That would be good. Is there anything else you wanted to say about the show?
No, I really, really enjoyed it. I like Beard. He's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk a lot.
No.
But when he does, it's like a really big impact. It has a big punch. So I always enjoy those moments.
I like the self-realization moments that, Kent didn't want to be benched, but then he realized he had to be.
Right.
Stuff
It's
like
time.
that. If you don't have anything else to say, I wanted to bring up something about a sport in real life, and then we can sign off for the night and watch that episode because I really want to get to it.
Okay.
Cleveland Indians last year, the year before, retired Chief Wahoo.
Okay.
Who was their
mascot,
red-skinned mascot.
Yes.
We're trying to
racist mascot.
Yes, extremely racist mascot. They got rid of Chief Wahoo, but they were still the Cleveland Indians, and they got over 1,100 submissions for names.
Okay.
You don't know what they settled on, do you?
I have no idea.
If you had to come off the top of your head, what do you think would have been a good replacement
for Cleveland?
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to, whatever. But, some people said Cleveland natives, like they wanted to still be in the same vein.
Okay.
I saw Cleveland Spiders because I think at one point they were the Spiders.
Okay.
They were also the Cleveland Blues, I think, at one point, and the Cleveland Jays. Doesn't really matter. All kinds of names.
Okay.
They settled on the Cleveland Guardians.
What are they guarding?
We'll get to that. But it sounds like a minor league team. Or an AFL team, that football team that football league that was around for a little while.
League that
it sounds like a non-major professional sports team.
Okay.
The Cleveland Guardians. And it was terrible. Like, I think it's terrible.
Okay.
What do you think of it?
I want to know what they're guarding.
So I looked it up, and I guess if you're listening in Ohio and you already knew this, I apologize if I mess up some of the details. So it's modeled after two Art Deco statues that are huge, that are on the front of the bridge that go over the river towards the stadium.
Okay.
So it's kind of local. I think that's kind of cool, actually.
So it's guarding the stadium.
Basically, I think they're called the Guardians of Traffic, which, not the team, those statues, because it's the Guardians of the Bridge. And that's terrible. But the fact that it's named after something local.
Not something national?
Yeah, well, I mean, the Marlins. Well, I mean,
that's local.
Everybody knows what that is.
Right.
The fact that this means something to the people in that town that not everybody else knows, I think it kind of makes it, this is ours.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's ours. And it might just be because it's something new. And it's everybody's like, the fucking Guardians. As a Padres fan, I'm sure people, the fucking Padres, are they still a team? But I think it's kind of neat. I don't like the
name.
The name, but I like the meaning behind it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's kind of cool.
Right. It's not just something they just threw at a dartboard and was like, okay, we're Penguins now, or...
Yeah, I mean, you could have gone with anything that was kind of non-original,
Right.
You could have gone with lots of stuff.
The Cleveland Tables.
You could have just gone with the Cleveland Browns and just... I'm sure the football team wouldn't like that, but they're both in the same city.
They wouldn't like that, though.
Yeah, but you got the New York Giants and the San Francisco Giants. I mean, you can't copyright a color, can you?
I don't know. They can copyright their logos, which include colors.
That's weird. I never really thought about that because there's the St. Louis Cardinals and the Arizona Cardinals. It's like...
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know.
But I think it's kind of cool that they did something for the town. I wonder what the people in the town say. I'm sure there's 50% of them are really excited and 50% of them are super pissed.
It's probably more pissed because just think of all the submissions they got. Those people are going to faction together in their own blob.
Also, I think that Ohio's pretty conservative.
Okay.
and you run that whole nothing can change ever.
Oh my God.
Mentality
Very true.
mentality of a conservative. I was trying to say conservative mentality at the same time.
Oh, that's challenging.
But yeah, Cleveland Guardians, weird name, cool meaning behind it. Ted Lasso, phenomenal. I recommend it to everybody.
Anything else?
No, I'm excited to get off this and
watch your episode.
Go watch the first episode. We probably won't talk Ted Lasso again until
later on this year.
Until we finish this second season, and we'll kind of
that's
do a
in
review.
October, so that'll be a while.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, we have plenty of stuff to talk about. We're going downtown tomorrow to check out the Comic-Con shrine, and you're going to donate blood.
Yeah, I think I get a Funko.
So, we are going
with
to
our lack of Funko-ness this year.
Yeah. We go say hi to our convention center. They're lighting up blue and yellow every night for...
Are they really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. We won't be there at night, but that's okay.
No.
We got some cool stuff from Skybound that we bought for Skybound Expo last weekend.
Expo 2.
Yeah, Expo 2. So we spent money at the place we usually spend money at. We got some Attack Peter stuff. I've been looking at things, I've been looking at the Mondo stuff and some other people's art online through Comic-Con, and you could check out Bob Draws. He's a local San Diego artist that goes to Comic-Con and is at Artist Alley every year. I think it's Bob Draws. Now I'm going to be mad if I don't say the correct.
Well, then look it up. I know a lot of people are doing the Comic-Con at home, so there's a lot of things you can buy through artists still, even though they are not here in town.
We have to make sure that we immediately frame that Attack Peter
print.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's bobdrawsstuff.com. He's a local artist. He does some pretty neat stuff. He has one right now that's that classic farm painting with the husband with the pitchfork and
the wife.
He has that right now, but it's Vision and Wanda.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty clever. He does some clever stuff, so check him
out.
And go on Twitter and go to the SDCC hashtags and check out and see who's selling stuff. Support a small time artist. Support some independent comic books. Get some pins. Get some cool stuff. Mondo's putting out a lot of cool stuff. So it's still worth checking out. And all those panels are open to everybody now.
Just zoom on in.
Yeah, because you don't need tickets. So go watch those panels, and hopefully next year
it'll be better.
Yeah, get your shot, and we'll all be at Comic-Con next year. And Ted Lasso's great. Go watch it. Have a good night. Or day.